Hi all, good evening. So this is your trainer. Give me a moment. Let me just quickly share my screen. Guys, let me know if my screen is visible to you all. Is it visible to you? Can you please confirm? Any one of you? All right, great. Thank you. So guys, as you can see in the thumbnail, right? So we are just launching some combos, right? Where actually you are going to get the benefit of multiple domains. You are going to get the knowledge of multiple domains in IT. So as a system administrator, right? If you are a beginner, right? Or even if you're already doing job in the organization, so how we can enhance our skills, how we can add on in our skills, and how we can get hikes on our current packages. So in that case, these courses are going to help you out, right? So I'm just taking a minimum example, right? Let's say you are working as a desktop support engineer, right? So that is the very least job you can expect in a IT domain, right? But after that, what we can do in order to get into the cloud, in order to get into the more onto system administration field, right? So this is all things we are going to discuss about, and hopefully you are all aware of that what and all topics we are going to cover. Even I'm going to explain today as well that what and all topics we will cover in the batches, right? For even your SCCM, for Azure, for MCSA, for Intune. So all those things we'll be covering today. All right. So if I'm just talking about a simple path, right? So in that case, first of all, if let's say you are working as a desktop support engineer, all right, in this case, you are not going to get the knowledge on Active Directory, the knowledge on group policies. You are just going to deal the software and hardware issue which are going in the organization. Even I have followed the same path. Even I was onto the same path. I started my journey as a desktop support engineer itself, right? But later on, how we can enhance our skill, how we can add on onto our IT skills. So these things are much needed nowadays. And this is purely I'm talking about the experience I do have in IT. Like I'm working in IT field from last 8 years, right? So what and all things I have experienced. So based on that, I'm just going to explain each and everything, right? So as a desktop support engineer, it is just a beginner. It is just for a beginner level. It would be a beginner level job where you can just get a package of around 20K monthly. I'm just taking an average for now, right? So after this, or even if you're stuck in the IT field, right? If you're not getting good, good hikes, right? If you're not getting good skills in the current organization, then in that case, to get the knowledge on the fields or to get the knowledge on the tools that nowadays companies are using, so we have to get the knowledge. We have to work onto it. We have to learn the tools. All right. So after this, let's say you're working as desktop support. In that case, just a second. Hmm. To enhance your IT skills, right? What we can do, we can go for MCSA, under which you are going to work purely on Windows servers. That how to set up the Active Directory, how to create the group policies, how to create the file servers, how to make a web server. Basically, you are able to access these facebook.com and you are able to access live nwkings.com. So at the back end, these websites are hosted on a server. by using IIS services, Internet Information Services, right? So these service we can install onto the server and then we can host our website. Same way, if you need to make a domain controller, DC, then in that case, we have to install the Active Directory domain services. If you want to configure the file server, failover file server, you want to make the high availability of your file server, then again you are going to configure the file services onto the server. Then only we can make our file server highly available for our customer and for our clients. So these all things we are going to learn under MCSA. This is just the very small example I have told you. It can be a WDS, Windows Deployment Services. It can be WSUS patching services, right? Multiple things are there which we will cover in MCSA. Or even you have shown in your current, even if you have working in the organization, might be you have seen, right? That how they are making the group policy, how they are implementing it on your users, on your laptops. So in real time, how these things works, that we are going to learn in MCSA. Now, MCSA is also like not enough to get a good job actually in the market. Yes, we can get the job, but if let's say you are already, for beginner, it is okay. But if you are already working as a system administrator, then in that case, you have to do one more add-on course that would be Azure, Azure 104 administrator. Because yes, companies do have on-prem network also and on-prem infrastructure also, and companies do have cloud infrastructure also. So how to manage cloud infra, how to create the virtual machines over there, how to make the connectivity, how to make the security, how to use the storage services, right? So even Azure 104 is totally based on the topics which is provided by the Microsoft. Even you can get the global certificate also for Azure 104. MCSA, now they have retired. Now MCSA certification is not there, but you can go for 104 because if you are Azure certified, if you are a 104 certified, then it specifies that you have the knowledge of MCSA also. No need to get the separate certificate for MCSA. If you will going for a cloud admin job, right, in that case, by default it would be there that you have the knowledge of servers, that you have the knowledge of on premises network, on premises infrastructure. All right, so at a administrator level, these two courses are must nowadays. Even I'm not going for, even if I'm not telling for 104, you can go for AWS also. Choice is yours. So the thing is, you have to go to the cloud, you have to get the knowledge of cloud, because it is must now. Companies are moving their infra to cloud nowadays, right? And in order to work on cloud, in order to work any of the technology like AWS, Azure, or GCP, you should have the knowledge of MCSA. You should have the knowledge of servers. You should have the knowledge of networking, basic networking. So we will get the basic concepts from MCSA. We will clear our all the concepts related to servers, and then we will move to the cloud. And for me, I used to teach 104. So the choice is yours. If you want to go for AWS, you can opt AWS course also. But this is purely for Microsoft, which is MCSA and 104. All right. So we have multiple topics. As I told, we are going to strictly follow the syllabus provided by the Microsoft. We are going to follow the same topics, same path we are going to follow, right? And we will try to complete and we will try to attain the all knowledge which is available under 104 and which is good for you even to, to get a good package or to get a good hike on your current packages. After that, we have one more combo batch, which is again widely used in the organization. That is SCCM, Software Center Configuration Manager, but nowadays it is called as MECM, Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager. Plus Intunes. Might be you have heard. Okay. So this is going to be our second combo. Along with it, there would be Office 365 also, guys. Office 365. So this path, these modules are must do topics nowadays in order to get a good job, or in order to, you know, in order to work in the organization, current organization also. I can give you one example, right? If you have company portal in on your phones, there would be application named as company portal. Or if you have software center application in your laptops, then your companies are using SCCM and Intunes both. Right? So these are widely used tools in the organization. So why it is being used? As the name suggests, Microsoft Endpoint Configuration Manager. You will be able to manage your laptops. You will be able to manage their deployments. Right? Deployments in the sense, let's say you want to deploy some applications onto 10,000 of laptop in your company. You can do it in a single click. Without taking that system on remote, you can do that in a single click. Same way, you need to upgrade your Windows 10 to Windows 11. No need to get laptop in front of you. You can just directly do it in a single click again. And that Windows 11 will be deployed to your Windows 10 laptops. User can select install, and automatically the installation of, or you can say the upgradation of Windows 10 to Windows 11 will start. Right? Same way, let's say, but in case of SCCM, SCCM is basically a on you should have the on-prem infra for it, right? So for SCCM, what you are going to do, you are going to build at least 3 servers in your company. 3 servers you have to build in order to make your SCCM environment. These would be 3 servers. Now we are talking about SCCM, right? So 3 servers we have to make. First is going to be your domain controller, DC. Second is going to be your database server. That will be your SQL server. Right? And third is going to be your primary site server. Because initially, if you want to build the SCCM site, you have to make the primary site server, PSS, primary site server. So for SCCM, you have to build these servers, but for Intunes, it is totally a cloud-based tool. You have to just procure the license for Intunes. That's it. Like you can take the example of Office 365. In case of Office 365, you need not to configure any Exchange server, right? You can get it, or you can configure it through Exchange online. But earlier, you used to configure the Exchange in your on-prem environment, on-prem infrastructure. But now it is not needed, right? That is a software as a service offered by the Microsoft. Office 365 is also a software as a service. Same way, Intune is also a software as a service, where just Microsoft is saying no need to configure these servers. I am going to give you all the features over the web portal itself. You have to just log in onto your Intune's account, and then over there you will be able to get all the features of Intunes. Okay, same way, For Azure also. Now in case of cloud, or in case of Azure, no need to have servers in your on-prem environment. If you want to create the virtual machine, no need to procure the hardware. You are just going to configure the servers on Microsoft data center based on the region you are going to select. Microsoft is supporting multiple regions, right? Like Central India, like East US, East US 2, Dubai. So multiple regions are there. Based on that, whatever region you will select. If let's say I'm selecting East US, then in that case, I am configuring that virtual machine into East US data center of Microsoft. And Microsoft is giving the pay as you go service as well. That means you have to pay for the services for the time you are running it. Let's say you are running the server for 2 hours, right? So you need to pay to Microsoft for 2 hours only. That is called pay as you go service, right? So two combos are there, MCSA and Azure, and then SCCM and Intune. See, let me give you a benefit of doing MCSA now. Because see, in case of MCSA, we are going to work on servers, we are going to work on domain controller, we are going to work on group policy. The same thing will help you out in order to build the MECM environment also, SCCM environment also. Because here also we have to configure domain controller, right? Here also we are going to configure the group policies, GPOs, and multiple things, right? So MCSA is basic, where you are going to clear your all concepts related to servers. And then these are the advanced things that we can do to get a good hike in our current packages. All right. Any confusion, any doubt so far? Am I clear to everyone?
Uh, so in this batch, in this course, which one is it? Is it MCSA plus Azure and SCCM?
See, first of all, as I told, there would be combo batch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on you whether you are going with combo or you're just going with a single batch. So it is your choice,
Okay.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
why we just created these combos to just get an idea, right? That how it is going to work, how the companies are working. Companies are using all these things in a single environment, in a single organization. You are going to see all these things, right? So that is why
Mm-hmm.
these are much needed. But it depends on you whether you are going to go with a whole combo or you're just purely going with MCSA. But I would suggest to
Okay.
go with the combo only, because later on also, right, you are going to learn
Mm-hmm.
cloud. That I'm damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
So why not now, right?
Okay.
And even you can get some discounts as well. That is, you can check with the networking team itself, and they will let you know about the discounts and all, right?
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So
Hello.
hopefully, yes, yes, please.
Yeah. So what's cover in combo?
Okay, so I'll show you. In case of MCSA, right? We will be covering all the things related to server, whether it would be domain services, whether it would be remote desktop services, and then we have group policies, then we have OUs, groups, then then you have WDS, Windows Deployment Services. Multiple things are there, right? I will show you step by step.
Okay.
So, and in case of Azure 104, again, we are just going to follow purely the syllabus provided by the Microsoft to get the certificate, right? So, and in case of SCCM also, I have prepared a list of topics, and in Intunes also and Office 365 as well, I just prepared a list of topics that is needed to have nowadays. That the knowledge should be with you all guys, so that you can get the new job, and then you can work in the current organization as well by attaining these new
So what
knowledge.
is the duration of the combo course?
Which one? MCSA or then
The
SCCM? This one.
combo SCCM, MCM, and Tune and O365.
Okay, it would take around 3 months.
So it's a weekend class or daily class?
It depends. That we will let you know later on. Okay, for now, it would be, I believe, weekdays only, but we will let you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, now let me show you the topics that we'll be covering. So hopefully here I'm clear, right? This is what is the difference between SCCM and Intunes? These are both same things. Whatever you are able to perform on SCCM, the same thing you will be able to perform on Intunes also. But the major difference is, in case of SCCM, you are going to build these 3 servers at least in your company. All right. And in case of Intunes, you are just going to get a web portal access. Over there, you can just log in and you can start accessing your devices. Even you can deploy the applications through Intunes also on your laptops. Right. So tools are same. This is the Intunes, you can see, say it is an upgraded version of MECM. And along with it, no need to have these servers in the environment. You have to just log in onto the portal and then you will be able to use the
So
services.
these are all on the cloud infrastructure.
Intunes is a cloud infra, right? So you are not going to have the access of infra. So infra is going to be managed by the Microsoft, right? You are just going to log in onto it. You are just going to get a portal of it. That's it. Okay.
Understood.
Yeah. Same in case of Office 365 also. No need to build these servers in the environment, which we used to do earlier, right? You are just going to get a web access. You just need to log in with your email account over there, and then you will be able to manage your Active Directory as well, right? Then you will be able to manage your group policies also. Multiple things we will be able to manage from this thing. So these tools, Intunes and 365, it is called as software as a service offering by the Microsoft. By Microsoft. All right. Now let's talk about the topics. So first of all, MCSA. So as I told, MCSA is the foundation course, guys. Foundation. Until or unless you're not going to you're not going to have your basic concepts cleared, you will not be able to learn SCCM also. Right? So it is going to help you out, even SCCM, even Azure as well. Right? Because on Azure also you are going to have a web console over there itself, right? Then by logging onto Azure portal, you are going to create the virtual machines, VMs, right? And inside that VM, how to install the features, how to install the file server feature. So this thing we are going to learn in MCSA. This is just a small example, file server. We have multiple things like network load balancing, VPN, right? Firewalls. All right. So under MCSA, we will be covering multiple topics. Okay. Earlier, in order to get the Microsoft certificate of MCSA, you have to go through with 740, 741, and 742 exam. But yes, as the certificate is not available, as the global certificate is not available because they retired to market Azure, right? So that is why you can go with Azure 104 certificate, which specifies that you have the knowledge of MCSA as well as you have the knowledge of cloud. All right. So first of all, we are going to talk about the Active Directory, right? How to configure Active Directory. There are multiple types of domain controller you are going to have in your environment, right? Either it would be a primary domain controller, child domain controller, read-only domain controller, and then additional domain controller. So how to configure that, right? How to do the replication from one domain to another, how to make the trust between domains, right? So all those things we'll be covering in Active Directory, and along with it, group policies, how group policies can be applied, right? Then you are going to have OUs also. Then you have OU delegation as well. Because see, it is not possible in the company that only you are going to work on Active Directory. Your fellows are also going to work on it, right? So based on their experience, what you can do, you can give them the delegate control. Delegate control means you are just going to allow them that they will be able to perform some specific actions only on your Active Directory. For example, they will only be able to reset the user's password. Apart from that, they will not be able to do anything. That is called delegation, right? If you are going to make them as the member of administrator, domain administrator, they are going to get the whole right for your domain. They will be able to perform anything, but it is not recommended. You should give the elevated access to the users, to your IT users, and based on their experience, based on the time they are spending in the organization, you can give them the other rights also. But initially, it should be delegated access. Guys, just a second.
So this MCSA course certification is valid for 1 year or lifetime?
So this is what I'm mentioning. MCSA certification is no more available with Microsoft. They have retired it in 2021 itself, right? And
Okay.
now they are having Azure 104 certificate, global certificate,
So
which you can
104
attend.
is validity for 1 year, yeah, need to renewal every year.
It would be for 2 years,
Okay.
right? And later on, you can just renew it.
Okay.
All right. So in this Active Directory, and then we have DNS also. How to configure DNS in Active Directory as well. If let's say you are going to have systems in your environment, obviously you are going to join computers onto your domain, right? And if you want, you will be able to ping those computers with their host name, with their NetBIOS name. We will be needing DNS. So how to configure DNS, how to ping them, how to make the connectivity with our DNS of the client machine. So all those things we'll be covering here. All right. Then you have multiple things here. Operation master, guys. FSMO, flexible single master operation, the major part of the Active Directory. Whenever you are going for the interview, interviewer definitely will going to ask that what are FSMO roles, and hopefully you have faced that question in your previous interviews also. So how FSMO works, what and all are the dedicated features of FSMO roles, how to transfer the roles from one server to another, right? So there are 5 FSMO actually. Whenever you are going to configure a forest, under that forest there would be 5 FSMO roles. So if you want to transfer those FSMO to another server, how to do this activity? We are going to perform that, because it might possible that the on the server on which you have configured primary domain, it would have some network issue, or let's say there is some hardware issue on the server, right? So how to transfer those roles from one to another, that we'll see in the operations master, and even we'll talk about that what are operation master roles, what and all their responsibilities are, because it is the interview question every time. Even if you have a 10 year of experience, then also interviewer is going to ask you. Okay. Then see, ADFS, single sign on SSO, might be you have seen in the organization, in your organization, with your email account you are able to log in onto other applications also, like Jira, ServiceNow, ADP, even Office 365 also is example. You are able to log in onto Office 365 with your company's email account. How it is getting done? So that is all because of federation services. That is all because of single sign-on SSO. So how to configure it? This we'll talk about. Then Maintaining AD accounts, group policies, this I already talked about, right? What are all templates are there? Based on our requirement, we can apply the templates. If let's say you want your users will not be able to access USB on their laptops, that we can block. You want to apply your company's wallpaper onto each and every laptop of the organization, that also we can do. You want to define the password complexity, that if let's say user is resetting their password, then in that case it should contain at least 12 characters, and there should be a complexity with this one, with your special characters also. That thing also we can define with the group policy. You want to deploy any application, let's say you want to deploy Chrome onto each and every laptop of your organization, you can create a group policy, and then you can apply it to the devices and you can install it, right? And we have multiple policies. Once we'll start our topic over there, I will let you know, right? Then AD environment, backup and recovery, guys. Again, it is a major part for any of the organization. Backup is must. You have to configure the backup of your services. You have to configure the backup of your servers, so that if any of the server will get down, or if any of the services will get down, at least we will be in the position to get back our all services by using the backup, by restoring the backup. Right? Even companies are using third-party tool also. Might be you have heard about Veeam backup, Acronix, CPM backup. So these are third-party tools which companies are using, but we have inbuilt application also in the server where we can configure the backup, and at any point of time where if you want to restore it, it is possible, you can do it. All right. Then certificates. Security is also must, guys. If you want, whatever the website you are hosting on your servers, the traffic between your client and the server should be encrypted, should be under port 443 HTTPS. In that case, we will be needing certificates. You want to make sure whenever the users are taking the remote desktop of your server from their home, again, the connection should be encrypted. All right. So that thing we'll cover in certificate topics, where we will cover enrollments, we will cover auto enrollments. So multiple things will be there. So we will see over there. And then we have networking. You are able to access all the websites with their name on your browsers. How it is getting done? It is all due to, it is all because of your DNS server. Because at your ISP and they have configured the DNS server, and that DNS is resolving your query from name to IP and IP to name, and that is why you're able to open the website. That is why you're able to open the resources of that website. Because computer understands 0 or 1, right? It doesn't know about facebook.com, it doesn't know about nwkings.com. All right. So on the backend, DNS is resolving your query from name to IP. For example, if I'm typing on my browser nwkings.com, right? So on the backend, my DNS server is resolving the query, because this nwkings.com is binded with the public IP. That is why I'm able to open this website on my browser. And might be they have like in that case, you can buy a domain, you can purchase a domain, and you can put the entry on your domain, you can bind the public IP with your domain, and then you will be able to access the website with its name also. So how it is getting done? It is all due to the DNS services. It is all due to the forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zones are configured on your DNS server, and that is why you're able to resolve the query. So how to proceed with it? How to configure it from very scratch? How to configure the records over there? Because over there you are going to create the records, host record, A and quad A, right? CNAME record, mail exchange record, MX record, pointer records, start of authority, name server. So what and all these records are, how to configure them, how to add them, that all we will be covering in the DNS topic. All right. Okay, DNS server, DNS replication. Yeah, we'll talk about the replication as well. Let's say you have one primary DNS server, right? But that primary DNS server will get down. So how our users will be able to resolve the query? In that case, we are going to have our secondary zone also. So what will happen? Whatever the entries we are going to have on the primary, the same entries are going to be replicate on your secondary zone as well. That is why there is the option in networking. Whenever you go to your browser, oh sorry, you'll go to your network adapter, you will be able to see DNS address and alternate DNS address. So alternate is basically if one DNS server is not able to resolve the query, then the request will be sent to the second DNS server. That is why the option of alternate DNS is there in the network adapter of your systems. Even I'll show you now also. Okay.
One question here.
Yeah, please.
We have two ADC server. So I want to know how which user is connected to the primary ADC server and which user is connected to the secondary ADC server.
Okay, so in that case, it based on the DNS, that what DNS you have provided to the system. If let's say on one laptop you have defined only PDC IP, right? That means the users are authenticating from primary
No,
domain
laptop
controller.
is connected through the both IP showing the primary ADC server IP this and secondary IP this. So
Okay, then
how
you
I
can check
can know
through NetLogon.
my
You can,
system is which ADC server connected?
you can check through NetLogon then. NetLogon
Net
command.
log.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Through the server side, how I can check how many users are connected to the primary server and secondary server?
From server side, you want to connect. You want to check, right?
Yeah, from
So
the
in
how
that
many
case, we
users
have a
are
PowerShell.
connected to the primary server and
Yeah.
how many users are connected secondary server.
Yeah, so in that case, you need to run a PowerShell script. You have to write down a PowerShell script, and based on that, what and all users are authenticating from PDC, you will be able to get the result. You will be able to get the
So
report.
in this course, it's all
Yeah, it would be there. Yes, do let me know in the even. I have not discussed in my previous topics, but if you want, I can show you. This is very like first time I have get this requirement. I can show you. All right.
okay.
Yeah.
Continue it. No,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. All right. Then we have network access policy, network access policy, and then you have VPN servers also, right? So in networking, we have multiple topics we will be covering in the server, whether it would be netting, network address translation, virtual private network, VPN, local routing, right? If let's say you have two different networks and you want to communicate between two different networks, because by default it is not possible to communicate, right? So in order to set the communication, we are going to do the LAN routing, right? And then we will be able to set up the communication of two different networks, right? VPN with radius server, VPN with network policy server. Okay, so these all things are covered in the network, and even DSCP also, how to configure DSCP and how to configure the DSCP failover, right? How to configure the DSCP relay agent, how to configure the scopes, how to define that what client will that the client will get the IP from scope 1 or scope 2, right? So all these things will be under DHCP. Then you have file server. Again, the major topic for any of the organization, guys. The major feature of any of the organization. File servers always you are going to have in the your company. How to configure file servers? How to make them? How to make the connectivity of client and file server? How to map the network drives? You want automatically the network drive should be mapped to the devices of your organization. No need to do any manual any manual task. In that case, we can define a group policy again for that as well, right? So you will create a group policy that automatically whenever a system will going to join a domain, the network drive would be mapped to that device automatically. Okay, then we have distributed file system, DFS. You have shadow copies. You have again backup and restore for file servers also. Backup, we have a dedicated topic under which we are going to talk about bare metal backup, service level backup, file folder level backup, and then under folder files level backup also. We will take the backup and then we'll see whether we are able to restore it or not. So this will be
what is
discussing
the
in
purpose of the DFS consideration?
DFS. Okay, see, let's say, where is the diagram? Let's say I have these three servers physically available in the company, and I have a shared drive here. Yeah, let's say these are the disk, these are the shared drive, right? Volumes, you can say. So tell me how you are going to access these drives, how you are going to access these network drive from the laptop.
Through the host name or IP address.
One by one.
Yeah.
But what I will do, I am going to create a namespace under DFS. I'm going to create a namespace. For example, the namespace will be company data or data, just for example. Then from this laptop, user is just going to type data, and he will be able to see under this data this drive also, this one also, and this one also.
So multiple access through a single
Single name.
naming system. Okay.
Yeah, that is called DFS, distributed file system. No need to type again and again the IP address or host name, right? Backslash host name and backslash IP. No needed. You will just type data, right? And then you will be able to access the data which is physically available on different servers. That is DFS.
Okay.
Clear? Yeah. Okay, then we have quota. You can define the disk quota also. Let's say you have 100 GB free space available in this drive, but you want your users only will be able to use 10 GB. That is possible. We can define the disk quota. And later on, whenever it is needed, we can increase it also. We can make it as 20 GB, 30 GB, 40 GB based on the requirement. We have hard quota and soft quota. So that will be covering in the topic itself. But all these are quotas are. So over there, I will let you know. I will explain each and every part. Then we have print services. How to configure the print server, central printer server, how to configure it. That we'll talk about in this topic. And then we have WSUS. Again, the major thing, guys. Patching, how to deploy the Microsoft patches in your infra. So companies are not doing through WSUS now, to be very honest with you all. Companies are doing it through SCCM. They are doing it through SCCM. Same way, WDS, Windows Deployment Services. If you want to deploy the operating system, let's say this is my server. On this server, I'm going to configure this server as a WDS server. and I'm going to have new laptops in the organization. So how I will be able to install the operating system onto it? And if I want, whenever I'm going to install the operating system, there would be some common software should get installed automatically at the time of installation. So that thing we can do through WDS. But again, nowadays companies are doing it through SCCM, Software Center Configuration Manager. Yes, at the backend, SCCM is also going to use WDS and WSUS service. But until or unless we are not aware, but we are not able to get the concept, we will not be able to work on SCCM also, right? So that is why we will understand the concept in MCSA of both WDS and WSUS, and then we are going to implement on SCCM as well.
So inside laptop, like in DOS mode, then how he can communicate?
That is different thing. I will let you know during the classes. Okay, that is through TFTP. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because you see that it will take time to explain itself that this topic only, because and you need to cover Azure as well.
Yes,
So
you can
in the
continue it.
classes I'll let you know. Yeah. Okay. Then you have deployment server. See, this is the deployment server, which is Windows deployment services, right? And then you have web services, IIS. How to configure a website, how to host a website, how to make them available for the customer, right? How to configure the high availability of the website. Or how to configure the load balancing also for our website. Let's say you have configured a website on a server, right? And number of users are accessing your website. In that case, obviously, the CPU utilization of the server will get high. And at a certain point of time, users will not be able to reach to your website. Right. So in that case, what we have to plan, we have to do the network load balancing so that if any of the server is getting overloaded, automatically the request will be sent to the another server. Right. So that they will be able to share the load. Right. And then how to make it secured, how to make the secure connectivity. Again, we are going to talk about SSL, which is your certificates and all. So
So
these
you
are the
say a
topics.
web service is connected in the client side as a one IP. If this is server is then automatically transferred on another web service, right?
No, we are going to create a cluster in that case.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's
So
any additional hardware is required, or it's okay.
yeah, hardware is also needed, or even you can do it. You can do it through your virtual machines also. For example, I'm going to make a cluster. Under this cluster, I can add 32 servers. I can add 32 virtual machines. So now this cluster will decide. For example, for now this server is serving the services, but now the CPU utilization of this server got 80% or 90%. Or if let's say this server is down also. Earlier it was serving the services, but now it is down. So once this cluster will get to know that yes, now this server will not be able to respond, in that case it will transfer the request to this server. Same way, if the server will get overloaded, then the cluster will send the request to this server so that they will be able to share the load. Got it now?
Got it. So it means no additional hardware is required. Only
No,
you create.
hardware, obviously you are going to have virtual machine in the hardware itself, right?
Yeah.
So hardware is needed.
No. What hardware inside virtual PC, virtual server is there. If
Hmm.
any one server is down, then it's work, right?
Huh. We can define the priority in that case, right?
Okay.
So priority, let's say I have defined the priority as 1 to this server. Every time, first of all, the request will be sent to the priority 1. If it will find that priority 1 server is not healthy, or the priority 1 server is overloaded, then it will send to the server, then it will send the request to the server whose priority is 2, and then so on, right? We can define the priority till 32. Got
Okay.
it? Hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
So any additional load balancer hardware is required.
Yeah, obviously that is needed. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So these are the topics of MCSA. Again, we have some additional topics also that I will show you later on. And then we have this one, SCCM. Right. So first of all, we'll see we have around 15 modules in SCCM. Right. What is primary site? What is secondary site? What is
So
central administration
all
site?
all cover what is inside MCSA, all are covered inside also, right?
Sorry,
Which are covered in the MCSA, all modules are covered in inside also. MCF, this what is the subject is it?
SCCM. SCCM.
Yeah, it's all are covered inside.
No, SCCM is another. SCCM is a different module.
Okay,
Okay, it is a different course actually. You can say.
okay.
Yeah, but you can go for the combo so that once you will done with your MCSA classes, you can just jump on to SCCM. All right. So we have around 15 modules in SCCM, right? Under which we have to configure primary site, central administration site, secondary site, right? So each site has their own working, how it works, and how to configure it, how to make the first primary site, right? So we will be covering from very scratch. We are going to build our lab from very scratch, because if you're going to work in the company, you are going to have all these things already in place in the organization. These things are already there. You have to just manage the operations, that's it. But how it is getting configured from very scratch, so that is we will start. Even the installation itself, it takes around 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours to configure the installation, because as I told, DC is needed, then database server is needed, then your primary site server is needed. There are lots of prerequisites that we have to perform, then only we will be able to make the primary site server. Okay. And the module 2 covers the primary site configuration. Okay. Then you have module 3, that is how we will be able to get the information of the devices, because for now SCCM is not aware of that how many devices are there in your company. So your SCCM is going to gather the information from your domain controller. So that is why PDC knowledge is needed, that is why domain controller knowledge is needed, which you will get from MCSA, and then it will be easy for you to understand the DC functioning in your SCCM module also. Right? So it is going to gather all the information of the users and the systems from your domain controller. So how it is going to get? For that, we have to do the discovery. We have to do the discovery for computers, discovery for the users, discovery for the groups. Right? So how to do this discovery? Right? And even here also, you can give the role, you can do the delegate control also. I told about in MCSA that we can give the delegate control to other users. Same way, if on SCCM you want to give the delegate control to other users, because obviously your other IT team members are also going to work on SCCM console, right? But if you don't want to give them the full control, then in that case we can give them the role-based access, that they can only deploy the applications. Apart from that, they will not be able to delete anything. Right? So that is called role based, and then we will see in the module 3. Then we have module 4, under which we are going to configure the configuration of client. So it is a client and server communication, guys. In order to communicate, or in order to get the information from the client, we have to make sure that we should install the configuration manager client to our laptops, to our devices. Then only it will start reporting to our console. Right? So how to do the automation of this thing? Right? So what we will do, we are going to define a policy that as soon as system is going to be the part of the domain, automatically this agent, this client should get installed onto the devices, should get installed onto your laptops, so that it will start reporting to your console. because until or unless they are not going to you're not going to they are not going to report to the console, we are not able to, we will not be able to, to get access onto it. We will not be able to deploy any applications onto it. So that is much needed, right? Then we have module 5, which is managing inventory and software metering. You can manage your software inventory and hardware inventory. Let's say you want to verify that how much space is available in your C drive. You have 10,000 systems and you want to see that how much space is available in your C drive. You can write down a query and you can get the inventory report. You want to see how many laptops are with Dell, or how many laptops are of HP. That also we can do.
So
You
all
want to check,
software inventories would be available, right?
yep,
In
every
one
type of
side.
inventory. Yes, you want to verify that how many softwares are installed onto a laptop. You will be able to get
So
it.
summary report will be available in the if suppose I have 300 MS Office 2000 screenshot. So version wise is available, right?
Yes, even version also you can check that how many installed are how many laptops are installed with MS Office 2016, how many installed with 2019. Okay,
Okay.
all those things we can gather. Even you can do the software metering. You want to see that that for how long users are working on a particular software. That also we can get the information from our SCCM console. That is called software metering,
Okay.
right? Then we have module 6, querying and reporting data. So that is what I told you. In order to collect the information, let's say Rajesh talked about that he want to check how many systems are installed with 2016 MS Office and how many are with 2019 Office. We can write down our query. We can write down our SQL query and we can extract the report. So how to write down the queries, how to make the tables, how to make the rows, how to get a report, or even you can convert it into Power BI also. You can make a pictorial report as well if you have heard about Power BI tool, right? So we can integrate our reports with Power BI as well. Okay, so this would be under module 6. Then we have module 7, that is software deployment. This is what I was telling. In case of MCSA, you will be able to only install MSI package, Microsoft System Integrated Package. But if you want to deploy .exe packages, it cannot be done through group policies in MCSA, right? So you can do that task through SCCM. And even in the companies, there is a dedicated opening for application packaging only. If you will go to the Naukri,
Any types of application we can deploy through.
SCCM, yes, even
Okay.
your MSI or even your .exe also,
Okay.
right? Then we have software updates, patching. As I told, we can do it through MCSA also, WSUS also, but nowadays companies are doing it through SCCM, right? So on the back end, this service is also going to use your WSUS services. So that is why once we are able to get the knowledge on WSUS service, we will be able to work on this service as well of SCCM. There would be no issue in order to learn it. That is why again and again, guys, I'm mentioning the concept, the basic concept should be there. You should have the knowledge of basic onto the servers. Then only you will be able to work onto all these things. It would be easy, I believe, for you all. Right. Then we have
Suppose
module 9.
someone knows the MCSA and you only want to module. So what is the duration of this module?
That would, if we are going with weekdays, then it would be 1 month. If it is weekends, then it would take 2 months.
Okay.
Around 40 hours it will take.
Okay. Understood.
Okay. Yeah. So operating system deployment, same way I explained in MCSA, that is WDS. Same way we can deploy it through SCCM also, right? If you have already Windows 10 laptops in the company, you want to upgrade it to Windows 11, right? And you don't want to have that system in front of you. You can just directly deploy the the operating system from your SCCM console to those devices. All right.
So will we be installing SCCM on our virtual machines, or it's like kind of labs we'll be getting? How is it going to be?
So
How are we
Akshat,
going
it depends, right? It can be performed on your own laptops also if you have a 16 GB RAM. So even
to?
I would recommend you to go with your own laptops, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have as such, then in that case you can configure it on Azure as well.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
third option we have, like we have the labs also.
Mm-hmm.
From networkings as well, we can have the labs and we can configure over there. But I would recommend you to go with your own laptops and to
Mm-hmm.
configure all those things in your own laptop, so that we are going to work on virtualization over there, right? You will get
Okay.
the virtualization knowledge as well, that how virtualization works, how to work on
Okay.
VMware, how to work on Hyper-V, right? So that
Understood.
is why you can go with that. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Saitya.
yeah, no problem. Yeah. All right. Then we have module 10, that is endpoint protection. Even you can manage the Windows Defender as well, right? You want to run the scan on your 10,000 devices, right? No need to log in onto a particular device. You can create a scan and you can deploy it to your 10,000 devices. Automatically it will send you the report of all the devices, that what and all systems find what and all systems are found with any malicious activity. We can get the information report, right? Then you can take the systems on remote also through SCCM for your desktop support, right? Let's say a user is facing some issue, right? Is not able to like there is some drivers issue, right? So in that case, what we can do, we can take the system through remote control. We can take the system on remote through remote control application, which is by default available with SCCM. No need to get any extra license for that. You can take any of the system on remote of your organization, right? Then you have compliance settings and even auto remediation also. Now, what are compliance settings? See, guys, let's say I make a compliant, I made a compliant setting that I want that how many systems are deployed with the latest updates of Microsoft. For example, I want to check the February updates on the systems. So if any of the system is going to find or is going to report that it is missing with any of the particular patch, then that system is going to be non-compliant. Compliant means if it is already installed with that security patch, right? If any of the system is not installed with that patch, then it is going to be non-compliant. Then at that point itself, I can do the remediation also. That as soon as it is going to find out that this system is missing with any security patch, it should install it at that time itself. That is called remediation, auto remediation. Because in order to scan the environment, we can get the report, but obviously we have to make that systems compliant also. We can't leave them, right? So even you can do the automate task by doing the auto remediation, or you can manually target those devices and you can deploy that particular patch onto those devices which are missing with the patches, and then those system will become as compliant system. We can run the report again and we will be able to get the information whether the systems are compliant or non-compliant. All right, so there are multiple things we have to configure, basically baseline over there, that what and all parameters we are going to define, right? So there are multiple things. You want to check any registry settings. Based on registry setting, you want to check whether the systems are compliant and non-compliant. That is also possible. Based on any software version, you want to see whether the systems is compliant or non-compliant. That is also possible. Multiple things are there, right? That we're going to see in the lecture itself, in the class itself. Then we have module 12, MDM, Intunes. See, Intunes also we have a dedicated session, and then it will take around 20 hours to perform. So this is just the basic thing for now I have mentioned, right? In the next session, I will let you know that what are all topics we are going to cover in the Intunes. For now, we for now here just I just mentioned here about the devices. You can enroll your devices, either it would be Android or it would be your Mac, right? Your laptops you can enroll, right? Same thing, you can whatever things we have defined here, we have discussed here, right? Same thing we can do through Intunes also. But how to set up the Intune environment, how to get the license for Intunes, right? And apart from that, there are multiple things that we'll be discussing in Intunes, and it will again going to take around 20 hours to complete Intunes topic, right? Then we have module 13, power management and remote control. Okay, there is remote control here, you can see remote control, right? If you want to take any system on remote, which is the part of your domain, through SCCM we can do that. We can take the systems on remote. You can configure power management also of the servers, right? Then you have site maintenance, again DR, disaster recovery, the backup and restore for SCCM. Let's say on the server which you have configured as a primary site server, that server goes down, that server is having some hardware issue. So how we will be able to make our primary site up again? By taking the backup and by restoring it to another server, right? So all these things we are going to see practically, guys. This is not onto this PPT, right? We are going to configure it, like, and we are going to talk about each and everything and how it works, how it is being used.
So SCCM is license-based software. If you want to
Yes.
deploy this in the organization, so
Yeah.
what is the depth of this SCCM software?
Yeah. So you need to get the license, right? So license is based on primary site license, secondary site license, and central administration site license. We are going to work on evaluation version, in which we are going to get the license for 6 months. No
So
need to get any
evaluation
license.
version we can test everything on the 6 month, right?
Everything. It is going to have all the features which you are going to
Okay.
work on license version.
Okay,
Okay.
understood.
Yeah, yeah. Then we have the last but not the least, which is secondary site. How to configure the secondary site, how secondary sites works, how to deploy the data to secondary site, and how to connect the system to the secondary sites. That is the 15 modules we will be covering in SCCM batch. And this you will be able to understand once you are able to get the knowledge on MCSA. Once you are good with MCSA, you will be able to get, or you will be able to grab the knowledge on this SCCM and Intunes both.
So it means before joining this batch, we need to clear that MCSA first. Then after, I think clarity
Yeah,
will come.
yeah. See, if you have the knowledge, then it is okay. I'm not
Okay.
compelling you that you have to join MCSA only for now. If you have the knowledge on servers, you knows about DCs, you knows about file servers, you knows about the other things which we have discussed so far. If you are good with on that things, you will be able to grab the knowledge, no problem. But if you are not aware of, or even let's say you want to brush up your skills, then it is must, then you should go for it.
Okay.
All right.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And see, guys, whatever I have discussed so far, right? For all these things, I am going to provide all the PPTs, all the document, all the material, study material, along with it, interview questions. In I have prepared interview question for MCSA, for Azure, for SCCM, Intunes, Office 365. I have all the interview questions based on I have faced in my previous interviews, or even based on like how nowadays interviewers are asking. So there is a list of interview questions as well. All
So
right.
if I join the course,
Mhm.
then recorded video session also you provided, we can see only online.
No, no, no. You will get the recorded session as well, and it would be valid for 1 year.
So it should be available online. We cannot
Networking
download
portal.
offline mode, right?
No, no, no. That is a security, right? You can just view it. You are just going to have read-only access onto it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And one more question, sir. I
yeah,
think
question.
actually we are getting the mails that is MCSA class today, like that. And here we are discussing about the SCCM. I think that is
Yeah,
different.
see, I'm not saying yes, that is basically we are talking about combo batches, right? We
Okay,
are going to start with MCSA only initially because
okay,
MCSA is the foundation. Later on, in order to get the good job, in order to get hikes on our packages, then we have to learn all these things.
okay, okay. Fine.
Okay.
Right.
Initially, we will start with MCSA and then we will go with the SCCM and Azure and all those things which I mentioned here.
Okay,
Okay.
fine.
Might be
Thank
you
you.
have joined late. We have already
Uh,
discussed about MCSA.
Actually, I just joined 10
Yeah,
minutes
yeah, yeah.
before, and actually, I was also enrolled in batch of CCNA, CCNP, and MCSA. So currently, we are covering that CCNA part.
Got it, got it.
So that's why I was just a little bit confused. Like,